The horizon line, unlike this vertical backdrop, divides a space horizontally. When we talk about framing a shot with reference to a horizon line, we're referring to the amount of horizontal space that dominates the frame. In these two shots, the intention is to have the couple dwarfed by nature so the horizon is above them. With this view, the horizon line is low so that the man is prominent in the frame, making the background less sublime and giving him a solidity and power. Whether the horizon line is high or low, it allows the viewer to identify with a character the director wants to diminish or enlarge given the circumstances in the story. As in this shot, the ruins recede with a lowered horizon so that our focus is on the man emerging at odds with his surroundings. Whereas in this shot, from Terrence Malick's Badlands, the director wants a balanced frame, lending a peacefulness to the scene so that the actors, although tiny against the expanse, seem at one with it. Here Malick has Martin Sheen crucified against the horizon. He's young, at one with the prairie, and doomed. Horizon lines are important for establishing shots. Sometimes referred to as the master shot, establishing shots provide the larger context for the series of shots that draw you into the scene. Extremely important for continuity, this is usually a wide-angle shot that orients the audience vis-a-vis the action in the film so that time and place don't get confused. Like this shot from Kill Bill, the women dominate the horizon line and the framing provides a context for the scenes that take place inside. Like this scene, a finer detail of a smaller room inside the building where the horizon line bisects the action evenly, giving the impression of a standoff. A good establishing shot not only provides a setting for the action of the scenes that follow, but given a good location scout working with the production designer, it can fill out the mood of the movie as much as good sound design. Given the nature of our horror movie, the house our actress enters is almost another character since it will embody the creepy setting our phantom assailant emerges from. To add portent to the house and give it mystery, it might be wise to frame the shot so that the house dominates the horizon line. A good example of this can be seen in Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. The Bates Motel looms above the horizon line like a gothic nightmare about ready to descend. Add night to the shot, and we have a perfect context for Psycho. But for a horror movie, the building doesn't have to be preponderant. It can, as in this shot, be shrouded with mist that diffuses the light in an eerie way. Or the house can be imposing like the one here that is used for the Amityville Horror, and still hide the evil inside. In any John Carpenter movie, the house in the establishing shot sets up the horror that is to follow, and as an indication of the looming dangers the characters face, is always higher on the horizon line. In the light of day, to make a house like this look more benign, the horizon line is lowered. In this daguerreotype from the movie The Ring, it hints at crimes in the past. The rather commonplace house sits higher on the horizon line and set back in the woods with closed shutters, looks forbidding. And with this classic chateau meant for a setting to an Edgar Allan Poe story, notice how the hedge helps raise the bleak, gray stone edifice above the horizon line. Enter at your own risk. While we're on the topic of horror, take a look at this establishing shot from My Bloody Valentine. The dreary, mundane street is dominated by dark valentines swaying above the horizon line. And here, in the hostel, our characters are framed in a locker room by a cage whose shelves raise the horizon line with troubling instruments of torture. Getting a glimpse of the creepy abandoned warehouse makes one hesitate about approaching the receding hallway rising on the horizon line. And if we're looking at some of the interior establishing shots to popular horror movies, a tilted, higher horizon line lends to the terror, especially if there are dark stains on the floor. All we need to do is insert some characters and we feel the ghastliness of the trap that's been set. Name a horror movie, and rarely will we not recall a house and a high horizon line. So when we scout for possible houses that would look good in a master shot in a horror movie, it doesn't matter how large they are, think of how they might loom at us from the horizon line. And finally, while we're looking, it's always good to have a classic image as our guide.